Hi everybody, Regina Bryan here, and I am honored and excited to be with you today as the guest host on the Empowered Living Facebook page. I'm here at my home in the Atlanta, Georgia area. I live about 40 miles north of the city in Gwinnett County, and I want to say thank you for joining me from wherever you are today. Like so many of you, the Empowered Living community has deeply enriched my life. Paul and Roddy have been mentors of mine since February 2015 when I attended my first John Maxwell Team live event. Then, about a year later, I discovered this community and signed up for my first TAGR study. To be a part of both the John Maxwell Team and Empowered Living has been a blessing beyond measure. Also, I'm privileged to serve the John Maxwell Team as a faculty member for the Maxwell Disc Method. When the opportunity came along to share a message on this page, I just knew that I had to jump in. And so today, I want to talk with you about one of my favorite topics, connection. Because to me, an empowered life is all about connecting. Connecting to the highest and best in ourselves, in others, and in life. So a little while back, I was on YouTube and I stumbled across Jim Carrey's 2014 commencement speech. That's right, comedian and actor Jim Carrey has a commencement speech, and it's quite good. In it, he said, "The effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is." I was blown away by that. And the more I thought about it, the more deeply I connected with it. Because if we think about where we are in our lives right now, wherever we are personally, professionally, and everywhere in between, we are where we are because of the effect that we've had on others or that they've had on us. And effect happens in conversations. As a matter of fact, I believe nobody says it better than Susan Scott in her book, Fierce Conversations. And if you have not read this book, what are you waiting for? Susan writes, "Our lives succeed or fail gradually, then suddenly, one conversation at a time." That's juicy. There's more. She goes on to write, "While no single conversation is guaranteed to change the trajectory of a career, a business, a marriage, or a life, any single conversation can. The conversation is the relationship." Wow, that's incredibly powerful. Think about your most important relationships. The quality of those relationships is directly proportional to the quality of conversations you're having. So the question that we must continue to ask ourselves is, am I having quality conversations? Am I connecting? I wholeheartedly believe that every conversation is an opportunity to connect. And when we connect, we gain influence, can make a difference, and truly impact the lives of others. And that's huge. As a matter of fact, this entire topic is. I have been a student of all things communication and connection for most of my life. So for me to really understand it and apply it in my life, I've had to break it down and simplify it. And in doing so, I have created a 3-step approach for connection. If you have not been taking notes, you might want to now. I'm going to give you the 3 pieces of the connection equation. Number 1, connecting begins with me. Number 2, connecting is all about you. And number 3, connection creates fun, memorable, and magical moments for us. Now, there is absolutely no way that we can fully tackle these three components today. So let's just skim the top of the waves. Starting with number one, connecting begins with me. This is foundational because how I show up in the conversation will in large part determine if a connection can be made. And how I show up begins long before the conversation does. It begins with my mindset, my attitude, and my overall approach to life. As I share with you today this message, I can tell you with certainty that the success I've enjoyed in my life has been directly related to my ability to connect well. You see, a few years ago, the owner of my real estate office, a gentleman named Brian, and my team leader, Deb, asked me to be the post-license instructor in our market center. And I was not one of the top agents. As a matter of fact, the top agents were teaching this series of classes. And although they were wonderful people running incredible businesses, it was just hit and miss. Some were simply better instructors than others. So when Brian and Deb went on the hunt to find a permanent instructor, out of almost 400 agents, they asked me. And I can tell you what made me stand out has been my ability to connect. Now, of course, I had to know about real estate and how to get transactions closed, and I did. And so did a lot of others. Again, it was the ability to connect that set me apart. Number two, connecting is all about you. This is the master key. You cannot unlock the door to connecting without it. And yet, this is the one that many of us get wrong, really wrong. Think of it this way. It's that awkward moment when someone is sharing their story with you. Perhaps they're talking about the great book they're reading, the wonderful restaurant they've just eaten at, or perhaps the amazing trip they took. And just when they take the slightest pause, someone swoops in and starts telling their story. You see it happen all the time. The conversation's been hijacked. And if we're all honest, we've committed that crime a time or two. I want to take a minute and talk to my friends that are speakers and trainers. We especially have to keep a close eye out for this one. Those of us standing in front of an audience must never, ever think more of ourselves than we do of them. And as a new speaker, I made that mistake more times than I care to admit. And even now, as a more experienced speaker, I still have to keep my guard up for that one. Here's the trick. The moment that we are in front of anyone, whether it's one person or 100, it becomes all about them. Period. Now, when you add number one plus number two, you get 3. Connecting creates fun, memorable, and magical moments for us. I deeply believe that this is the outcome that we are all seeking in life. And we can achieve it when we practice connecting at the highest levels, which of course means beginning with ourselves and then making it all about others. Life is short, right? And any time that we can make it fun and enjoyable is a gift. Now, I'm an I personality, so fun is a value for me. And yet, I understand that life can't always be fun. You and I have and will again know heartbreak, grief, and disappointment. And how we choose to use those moments can determine if they're memorable, if they mark us. Those moments can become defining moments or never again moments that we learn from, grow from, and reflect upon. And then there's the magic. The magic. Magic in life is not at all about waiting for something to happen to you. Magic is something that you bring about when you choose to connect. And real magic is all about reconnecting. You see, over these last few weeks, as I've thought about this topic of connection and going through the coronavirus, one thing I've learned is that the power of connection is really in the reconnection, because we have to choose over and over and over again to connect, and we have to reconnect. And so I want to share with you the best practices for reconnecting. Are you ready? Number 1, we reconnect by tapping in to the highest and best in ourselves, knowing that failure does not define us and is just a necessary part of the process. We reconnect also by number 2, tuning in to the highest and best in others. We know that everybody is doing to the best that they're aware of. People are doing the best they know how. And number 3, we reconnect when we treasure, truly treasure the highest and best in life. Because regardless of our current conditions and circumstances, life is happening for us. Life is happening for you and for me. And the power of that life is in the connection and the reconnection. I want to thank each and every one of you for choosing to connect with me today. You can find me on Facebook, Regina Bryan, and also my business page, reConnect with Regina. Big shout out to Paul and Roddy for this incredible opportunity and the amazing Empowered Living team. You all are simply the best. You all have helped me create real magic in my life. Much love to you all. Bye for now.